Another really significant artwork here in the Ohio Statehouse is the Treaty of Greene Ville by Howard Chandler Christy, who is an Ohio artist who worked mainly in the 20th century. This painting recognized the 150th anniversary of the signing of the Treaty of Greene Ville, which took place in 1795 in Greenville, Ohio, on Ohio's western border. This treaty was signed between the various Native American tribes who were living in the area at the time and the United States Army. And it was a treaty that essentially gave most of what is today modern Ohio over to the United States. And in agreement, the tribes who were living here would move either farther north along Lake Erie or farther west. And in exchange, they received a promise of money, of goods and supplies, and that treaty was recognized by the groups coming together and signing off on it. Now, the Treaty of Greene Ville painting that we see here today is not necessarily historically accurate. It was painted in 1945, long after the treaty was signed. And some historians believe that maybe the situation was more like different groups came in, signed the treaty, and then left. And there wasn't necessarily a massive gathering as we see in the painting. But it does help to highlight some of the really important people who were involved in that treaty, including William Henry Harrison, who went on to become President of the United States. You also have a number of significant chiefs from the Native American tribes, including Blue Jacket, who's featured there wearing the blue jacket. And then Little Turtle is standing at the front holding out the belt as a sign of peace. So we do know that there were significant historical figures who were involved in this treaty, who were involved in the scene, but we don't necessarily know that they all came together in the way that is shown here. However, the treaty was very significant to modern-day Ohio. Once it was signed, more and more settlers began to come to Ohio from the East Coast, and that allowed Ohio to get to the point of having enough permanent residents to then apply for statehood. They started that process in 1802, and it was finalized on March 1st of 1803. So without the Treaty of Greene Ville, Ohio would not have been able to complete that process. So even though certainly there are a lot of different storylines to consider with the Treaty of Greene Ville and with this painting, ultimately it's a very significant part of Ohio's history and is often featured in the history books that Ohio's school children study to this day.